Hi, guys. Chapter 5 of our mystery read aloud. It's called A Request for Help. So, let's find out if we find any more clues or suspects. So, are you like secret agents? Benny asked. Trudy and Mrs. Silverton laughed. Not exactly, though we are good at keeping secrets, Mrs. Silverton said. And now we are in need of more people to help us. We don't have as many agents as we used to. We do have some helpers at different places around the world, but they have other responsibility as well. For health reasons, I don't travel anymore. Mr. Garnet has his own important job, and I can't travel for a while, Trudy added, pointing to her cast on her foot. I'm going to need to have more surgery. Next time I have to cross a rope bridge in the jungle to find stash of stolen artifacts. I'll make sure the rope isn't rotted. That's how I broke my leg. Oh, where did that happen? Violet asked. It sounds very scary. It was more exciting than scary, at least until I fell, Trudy replied. But that's a story for another day, Mrs. Silverton said. As Trudy's accident, After her accident, we realized this would be a good time to recruit some new members. We need more people who can trust us as well as we trust them. And they need to be really good at solving unexpected problems. Mrs. Silverton looked over at Grandfather. Mr. Alden had always said that we could call him at any time, so we took him up on the offer. But just to make sure you were up for the test, we decided to give you a few little tests. Well, what are the tests? Well, there's some tasks. What are they? Henry asked. We've collected several very special items that need to be returned to the countries where they belong, Mrs. Silverton said. Jessie's thoughts raced ahead, thinking of all the postcards on her mobile. Would the Aldens get to go to some of those cool places that she's always wanted to visit? Of course, we can send you around the world, Mrs. Silverton continued, but we'd like you all to return the turtle to Acoma Pueblo. Once you do, we'd also like you to find the Redimus agent who will deliver the other 6 items to various spots around the world. We'd go all the way to New Mexico? Violet asked. Well, that is the plan, Trudy said, but you can choose not to go. What we are asking you to do is not exactly a vacation. Jessie was a little disappointed at first. New Mexico wasn't a different country, but then she remembered it was very different from Connecticut. Can we go, Grandfather, please? She asked. Well, yes, we certainly can, Grandfather replied. Yeah! Benny and Violet cheered at the same time. Mrs. Silverton said, Excellent. We are trusting you with some very special items, so we are counting on you to take very good care of them. Oh, we will, Henry promised. Then Mr. Garnet spoke up, surprising the Aldens. They'd almost forgotten that he was there. I'd say it one more time. I think this is a bad idea. These are children, and those are two expensive things to be trusted to them, and they're very important. Well, Mr. Garnet, Mrs. Silverton said, I've taken your opinion into account. They will have enough help along the way to complete the task. I believe they can do it. Mr. Garnet got up and walked away from them to stand by the door of the coach. Very well, he said. If something goes wrong, it won't be my responsibility. Trudy glanced at him and then looked back at the children. She opened a cloth bag on the seat next to her. I have something for you as our new Redimus Society helpers. These might come in handy. She pulled out 4 black flashlights, each small enough to fit in a pocket. Each had a small owl etched in silver on the handle. The etchings looked like the owl on the Redimus logo. The special thing about these flashlights is that you can change the color of the lens if you need to. Unscrewing a cap on the end of the flashlight, Trudy took out 2 lenses, a red one and a yellow one. If your eyes are adjusted to the dark and you want to keep them that way, use the red lenses. It helps preserve your night vision. You can use the yellow one if you are in smoke or fog. It shines through those better than a clear light. These lenses just snap over the top of the flashlight where you need them. Awesome, Henry said. The children took their lights and experimented with changing the lenses. Benny thought it was one of the best things he'd ever been given. They were so interested in the flashlights, they barely noticed a sound from the front of the train. It sounded as if someone were starting the engine. I wonder if they're going to New Mexico on that train. Wonder. Well, when do we leave? Jessie asked. Trudy grabbed her crutches, and Mr. Garnet stood up. Now, he said, and he offered his hand to Mrs. Silverton and helped her out of her chair. They walked to the door. Jessie was confused. How could they be leaving right now? She got up too. Trudy smiled and motioned to Jessie to sit back down. She took a business card out of her bag and handed it to Henry. Contact me if you have any trouble. We've arranged all your travels for you, she said as she pushed herself up and out of the chair with her crutches. Mr. Garnet helped Mrs. Silverton down the steps and then tried to help Trudy. Thank you, I'm fine, she said. As she stepped off the train, she called, Good luck. Be careful. Benny felt a strange sensation beneath his feet. Watch barked. The floor is rumbling, he cried. The train is moving. You know, if you've ever been on a train, you'd know what they're talking about. But the other way you could kind of know what they're feeling right now with that train moving is if you're on an elevator and you just feel that weird sensation. You can tell it's moving, even if you don't look at the numbers going up or down. It's kind of like that, but instead of going up and down, you're going forward. So it's kind of cool. It can't be, Violet said, running over to look out the window, but it was. The train was moving forward and it was picking up speed. Runaway train, Benny said excitedly. I wouldn't call it a runaway, Grandfather chuckled. I think it's supposed to be moving. Jessie turned to Grandfather. She couldn't believe he was just sitting in his chair and laughing calmly. We're really going right now, aren't we? She asked Grandfather. He nodded his head, looking pleased at the surprise. Henry leaped up and dashed to the door. Trudy, wait! He called. You didn't tell us the name of the person who gets the items. Good thing he has that card with the phone number. Hopefully he can get a hold of her if needed. That is the end of chapter 5. So, any new clues? Not really, but definitely we understand their mission. So, next will be chapter 6.